Mike Pennacchi with Network Protocol Specialists, LLC. It turns out problems don't let you know when they're going to happen. They can happen anytime. And oftentimes, people will call you and say, a problem happened yesterday at 2 o'clock. What happened? You need the ability to go in and capture for a long time and write those packets to disk. And we can do that with Tshark. In this video, we're going to look at how we can use the -B option within Tshark to capture packets and create a ring buffer to capture for a long period of time. All right, so let's take a look at how we can use a ring buffer with Tshark to capture packets and write them to files over very long periods of time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Tshark -D. And this is going to list the interfaces that I have on my machine. So in this case, I'm pretty sure I want interface number 7. Let's just do a quick IP config on here. So we want number 2 right there. So let's run Tshark -D again. Oh, we want interface number 5, right? The XHCI2, that's the interface I'm going to be capturing on. So let's clear that. So to set up a ring buffer, I'm going to type Tshark -I5. I want to capture on interface number 5. Then I'm going to say -B files. Now this is going to define the size of my ring buffer. So if I set this to 100, what it will do is it'll keep 100 files, 100 trace files out there. Now, once I exhaust those 100 files, it'll overwrite the oldest one with the newest one. So this gives me a depth of 100 files. Then I'm going to use the -B option again and set file size. Now this is in kilobytes. So if I come in here and I set this to 50,000, which is a number that I've always kind of liked for this, that is a 50 megabyte file. Not too big, not too small, seems to be a pretty good size. Now, that is going to be 50 meg times 100, and that will set, so that'll be 50 gig of disk space. So that's how much disk space of buffer we're going to have. So we can go back 50 gig as far as our trace files go. Now we could add a filter in here. I like to just capture everything. So I'm going to say -W, and we're going to say core itpros.pcap. So what that's going to do is it's going to create a PCAP. It's going to create PCAP files that all start with core IT pros, and then they're going to have a file number and a date and a timestamp. So let's go ahead and start that up. So we can see right here what it's done is it's created the first file called core IT pros, number 1, and it gives the date and timestamp. So when we're trying to find a problem, what we can do is we can look for the file that started before the problem and finished after the problem. And that starts giving us an idea of where those packets might be. So this is a great one if you have an intermittent problem and you're waiting for that problem to occur. Now, I'm going to talk about iPerf in a different tech tip, but we're going to come in here and run an iPerf real quick to send some traffic out there across the wire. So we're sending traffic, and we're sending it at about 700 megabits per second. And what you see is that we are moving a fair amount of data across the network, and that is creating all of these trace files. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this. And we're going to say dir core itstar.pcap. And so these are the files. These are the 50 meg files that were created. And we can see that there's a time and date stamp. We can see when that trace file started. And then the next trace file shows when that started. So the difference between those is the time period captured by that trace. Now, we are running a lot of traffic across here. But again, this is a fantastic way to go in and capture over a long period of time to get those intermittent problems. Or take an old PC and hook it up to your internet connection. Use one of the switches that I show you how to convert into a tap, plug that in, and just capture forever. So when somebody goes, hey, a problem happened last week, what happened, or yesterday, what happened, you can go back to this ring buffer and see what was happening. So I hope you found this tech tip useful. Check out our other tech tips, and we'll see you at the conference.